Good day everyone, my name is Damian. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys the basics of Linux command and how to use Linux command. So sorry, I've been having cough and hiccups, so pardon me for that. So these are things that you must know, right? So I'm very sure most of you, after the Kali Linux installation, you'll be wondering, okay, now what's next? What's next? Can we just start hacking? No. The thing is, Kali Linux right now is your tool, right? This is your rifle, this is your weapon. This is what you use to carry out your activities, but then you need to actually know how to operate this operating system effectively. So, and because you find yourself in situations whereby you'll be asked or you'll be tasked to do something, right? So you need to, okay, let's say for example I tell you, okay, can you do this or do this? You should not be running helter-skelter. That's okay, that you don't know a specific thing to do. So today we are going to be using a platform which is known as OverTheWire to teach you guys how to use basic Linux command. And aside that, without further ado, let's dive into that. So I'm going to be opening my web browser, right? So let me take my screen here and let's go to the website of so OverTheWire. Let's actually Google. So when you Google OverTheWire, right, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this website. So this is the first site we're going to be using. So you click on it and then you allow it to load. So these sites actually have different gamified Linux challenges, right? So we can see we have Bandit, we have Nitas, we have the likes below. So for us to actually play this game, or for us to actually take on this challenge, we are going to be using the Bandit. So you come down here, you select on Bandit, you click on Bandit, and then you allow it to load. And when you read on Bandit, you are going to discover that it says that it's a war game aimed at absolute beginners. It's going to teach you the basics, right, that you're going to need to participate in other war games. And it says something that you should note for beginners, right? So that it starts from level 0 and then you proceed like that till the last level, and that you are going to encounter situations whereby where you have no idea on what you are supposed to do. It said you should not panic, that the purpose of this game is for you to learn the basics, right? So I'm reading a lot of information. So there is a page here where you can click here, introduction to user command. You can just click here and open the link in your tab, right? So you can also go through that and see some basic user command, so you familiarize yourself with some basic command. But this is very important. It says that there are several things you can try when you're unsure on how to continue, right? So you just try, take your time, read through everything. Here there is something known as the manual page, which comes default on Kali Linux. The manual page, the short command is man. So if, let's say for example, you know a particular command, or you are given a particular command and you don't know how to use that command, you can use the man page, that's the manual page, to actually read about that command and you know how to use that command effectively. So let's assume we have something like ls, which is meant to list files in your current directory, like to list files. Remember, we're working in a terminal, we are not using a GUI. Okay, let me see this. you know, just like the way we are operating this system right now, this is what we call the GUI, the graphical user interface, right? But this here, this is what we call the terminal. You can see Parrot terminal. I'm using a Parrot operating system. So this is a terminal whereby you only have access to the terminal. You don't have access to a graphical user interface. So for you to actually interact with this particular device, you have to use the terminal, right? So nothing like graphics or graphical user interface. The second thing is, it says that also your favorite search engine is your friend. Learn how to use it. Google. Now, if you notice that during the class or in the group chat, we always emphasize on the use of Google, right? Because Google is a very, very handy search engine that you can't just deal without it. Because whenever you are stuck, ask Google. Right now, we even have ChatGPT, in the sense that you can also write down, put your questions there, and it's going to give you your answers. So this just then lastly, right, we are going to start. They said that you are ready to start, begin with level 0, right? So when you begin with level 0, there's something known as SSH, right? SSH is secure shell. So secure shell actually grants you access to another system. So we are going to be using our system. This is my Parrot OS. I'm going to be using my system right now to connect to another remote system via the secure shell, right? So when we connect to that system, so it's as if we have gained access to that system, but then we are in an SSH terminal. We don't have access to graphical user interface. So the only way for us to actually interact with that system is through through the terminal. And for us to interact with that system through the terminal, we have to use normal basic Linux command, right? So these are so we're going to be using this as a means to learn most of the challenges, most of the files, everything will be provided for you in every level. So now, and the other thing you should know is, let's say for example, we are going to start with level 0 now. When you start from level 0 and you solve level 0 challenge, they are going to tell you what to do to actually access the next level. Now when you access the next level, they are going to also still give you a challenge. Now when you solve that challenge, it's going to give you a password. Now that password is what you are going to use to log into the next level. Now for every level you solve, your result will be a password. Now that password contains the password of the next level. So you cannot just skip from level 0 to level 10. You have to actually go through everything as a process. And one final word of advice is, please take notes. Whenever you learn something new, take notes. As you're solving this bandit, there are some things you are going to be learning. Take note of them, and also to write down the password, right? Create a file on your system whereby you are going to be saving the password, so that in case you want to go back to a particular level, you can just quickly check so that you don't miss your password. So let's click with the first one, and make sure that you always click by your left hand side. So it is what you are seeing on your left hand side. That's what we are going to be using here. So click on the left hand side. I'll allow you to load. So now it says that bandit level 0 the level goal is the level goal. It says the goal of this level is for you to log into the SSH, into the game using SSH. The host to which you need to connect is bandit.labs.overthewire.org on port 2220. The username is bandit0 and the password is bandit0. Once logged in, go to level 1 page to find out how to beat level 1. Now, what I like about Bandit is they provide you the commands that you may need to solve this level. not necessarily you must use the command provided, but they just provide you commands that might be needful, and sometimes you might not even use those commands at all. So now you see, when you click on SSH, right, you open this link in your tab, it's going to take you to a tab where it tells you, okay, what SSH is, that okay, it's a remote login client. It tells you that okay, these are the basic commands you can use. You read about SSH, blah blah blah, and yeah. So the next thing is, they also provide you helpful reading material as you progress. Now, when you click on this secure shell on Wikipedia, you can click on how to use SSH on Wiki. How? Sorry about that. So now we are in our Linux box, right? Now I don't know how to use SSH, but this challenge is telling me that okay, that I should log in to the system, into the game, using SSH. Now the first thing you have to do is, I told you guys your notes, you have to keep notes. So you are going to get your favorite text editor. So what we are going to be doing here is, we are going to be writing down what we need: hosts, our hosts, ports, then username, password. Now so now, what's our host? Now they said that we are connecting to Bandit. So we are going to copy, and this is our host. On what ports? We are connecting on ports 2220. So what's the first username that we're being given? We are giving username. The username is Bandit0, and the password is what? Bandit0. So now we have gotten the key information, what we need, but now they said we should use this information here to log in into the system. Now I don't know what is SSH, I don't know how to use SSH. Then I can Google on how to use SSH, or I can just click on this link they provided, right? So we are going to let that load, right? So that's downloading. Now when you read all these things, you make sure you understand what they mean, right? Try to read, always emphasize, try to read and know what, so that you can learn from what's happening here. So when you go to this, right, when you go to this 3, testing the connection, after reading on this thing, they said that if you want to use SSH, this is what you have to do. You have to use this command SSH username at remote, right? You come here, you paste it here on your notes. Then they said that if you want to specify a port, add -p. Alright, so we are going to add -p, and they said that we should replace this with the desired port number. So let's put that down there. So now, by default, the SSH service runs on port 22. So if I should say, okay, SSH bandit0 at bandit.lab.overthewire.org, right, without specifying this port, by default it's going to specify port 22 for us in the background, which we may not see. So but in these instances, we're giving instruction that we should connect on this port. So you see where your learning process starts, right? So that's good. So now we have all the information needed, so we can just close that page. We don't need it anymore. So now, and they also said you can use the man command. I can say okay, something like SSH help on my terminal, and you can see that it's still going to give us the same information that we might need. You can use the man SSH. It's going to open a manual for you where you can also read about SSH on your Kali Linux, right? You can read about SSH. It's telling you that okay, Now you can see that when you scroll down a little bit, you can also see the port option where it says port, connect to the port. So that's if the port is not port 22. So you can read about other options you can use with SSH. So for you to exit this read, it said that press H for help or Q to quit. So we're going to press Q to quit this man page. So and that's all. So we're going to type clear to clear our screen. Good. So now we have all the information we need. Now let's bring this side. So they said we should use the command SSH username. So what's our username? This is bandit0. So we're going to paste it, and to paste on your Kali Linux is Ctrl Shift then V, not Ctrl V, but Ctrl Shift V to paste. So it will be SSH bandit0, then at what now? The host, at the remote host. So this is the host here. We're going to copy the host. I'm going to paste it, right? So then the next thing we're doing is we're specifying the ports on this port, right? We copy that, and then see we're using -p as the port, and we are going to hit enter. Now it's going to prompt us for our password, and the password provided is also bandit0. So we are going to paste that here, and boom, we are in, right? So now we just gained a remote shell, or you can say remote access, or SSH access, or terminal, or you just gained a shell on the target machine, because right now we are not on our system, right now. To show you guys proof of concept, let me open another terminal quickly. If I open another terminal, if I type who am I, you see that's my name, right? Host name. See, this is my system, right? This is me. But now that we gained access to a remote terminal, so right now it's like I'm using my laptop right now, and then I'm accessing another computer out there that I don't even know where it is located, but because I have the credentials, so right now I have full access to that system. So it's as if right now I'm sitting on that system right now. So if I do who am I, you see it's going to say bandit0 host name. You see bandit, right? So good. So now we have gained access to the system. So just a proof of concept. We're not told to do this, but I just want to explain to you guys better what's happening. So now we are done with that. So the next thing, it says that once logged in, go to the level 1 page to find out how to beat level 1. So remember, we're in bandit0 and we're in level 0. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to click this here, the one by the left. So I'm going to click it. Now good. Now you can see that we're level 0 and we are still level 0. Good. So now it says that this is the level goal, and what they said we should do, they said the password for the next level is stored in a file called readme located in the home directory. Use this password to log into bandit1 using SSH. Whenever you find a password for a level, use SSH on port 2220 to log into that level and continue the game. So now, good. So now, for this, we are going to be solving from bandit level 0 to level 10. So the rest will be like a task for you guys where we will discuss on the group and everybody drop their solutions and ideas so that you learn on your own and we learn together actually. So now they told us that the password is stored in file readme, right, located in the home directory. Now you'll be wondering what's the directory. Now when you gain access to a Linux system, you don't just appear everywhere on the system. There is something known as directory. Directory is also known as folder. So now remember, when you boot up, when you turn on your Windows machine, right, the first thing you see is your desktop directory, because you are using a GUI, so by default you're in your desktop. But if you want to leave your desktop, that's when you can navigate to other places. So but if you're in a terminal, you cannot just know if you are in your desktop or you don't know. So the best thing to do is print working directory, that is pwd. Hit enter. Pwd tells you, oh, you're actually in your home directory and you are in the folder bandit. So you're actually in the home folder, and under the home folder you are in the bandit 0, right? So now we know we are in our own home directory. And you can also, now we confirm that we're in our home directory. Now they said that it's located in our home directory. Use the password to log into bandit 1. Now the first thing we are going to do is we are going to list all the contents in our home directory, since we are bandit 0. So we're going to use the ls command. The ls command stands for list. So when we hit enter, it's going to list all the files in our home directory. So when we hit the ls command, right, you can see that we just listed all the files in that directory. Now there's a file named as readme, right? The next thing you have to do is, don't just go ahead and read the contents. Let us actually know what is this. You can use a command known as file, file, right? Then readme. So before you type readme, just hit on tab so that to help you auto complete. So when you hit on this, it's going to tell you that it contains ASCII text, blah blah blah. So right, that means it's just a file containing some strings. So let's so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the cat command. When you don't know what the cat command is, the cat command is it's known as so the catenation command is going to help us to view the content in this file. Remember, if we're using a GUI, we just double click, but now we are not using a GUI, we are using a terminal. So we're going to use a command known as cat, and we're going to put the name of the file, and then we hit enter, and then you can see, boom, it gives us the password to the next level. So the next thing you do is you are going to come here, so you're going to say, okay, level 1, that this is level 1's password, right? You're going to be saving your password. So the next thing you are going to do is, now we are done with this level, right? So they said that whenever you find a password for a level, use SSH to that to log into that level and continue the game. So now we are done with level 0. So this is the password for level 1, right? So we're going to press exit. Sorry, we're going to type exit, EX. So we're going to exit. So we are done. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to log into level 1, right? Now for us to log into level 1, now let me press my up button. I'm going to press up button once to go to the previous command I typed. Now when you look at this command, right, when you look at this command, SSH bandit 0 at bandit labs OverTheWire.org. Now if I should still run this command and imputing this as my password, it's not going to work, because see, I'm using bandit 0, so I need to edit this thing and put bandit 1. So you can either tab back, delete the 0 and log in, and put bandit 1, right, and hit your enter. I'm having network issues, so that's why it's throwing that error. So I'm going to retry that again, and then when we paste our password, remember you can't see the password, so you just need to copy the password and paste it. Now if I do who am I, guess I'm having network issues. So when we type who am I and we hit our enter, you see it's bandit 1, no longer bandit 0. So let me just exit this page, and let's also still do it manually, right? So now if I'm to log into this SSH using bandit 1, not bandit 0, this is what I'll do. I'll be SSH bandit 1, then I'll be like at. Now this is the, we'll go back to our notes, right, and then we are going to copy the host name, right? Copy the host name, copy that, and we're going to paste it -p, that's a port, and we're logging on what port 2220. Hit enter. Retry that again because of network issues. So let's retry that again, guys. Just having some silly network issues. So we're going to go back and copy the password we found, right? So we're going to come here and we're going to paste it. Hit enter. Remember, when you paste your password, you're not going to see the password. So now that we're logged into Bandit 1, right? So let's go over and click on level 1. So now good. Now they said that the password for the next level is stored in a file called dash, located in the home directory. Now they said the command that we need to solve this blah 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 ls cd cat file du find. Now they said helpful reading material. Now when you run the normal ls command now on your terminal, now instead of seeing a name of a file, you are seeing dash. Now when you try to, the normal way, when you try to cat it, cat, most of you be saying, okay, I'll just run cat then the dash. It's not going to work. Your terminal is going to get stuck, right? So you have to hold Ctrl+C to actually break that. Ctrl+C in case your terminal is stuck. Ctrl+C. So now the next thing you do is you'll be like, okay, how can I read this file? But there are ways to actually read the file, and there are 3 ways to actually read this file that I know of. So number 1 said you should Google for dash file name. So let's Google for dash file name, right? So that we can read about what a dash file name is. Now you see the essence of why I always emphasize on use of Google, right? Anything you don't know, no matter how dumb you think it is, Google. Now you see this is a dash, but we don't know how to read it, so we can use Google for that. Now we go to Google after searching for the dash file name, you read about it. Now let's click on this first link, right? So let's click on the first link and let's see what we can learn today. Now when you read through, I advise you read through everything here so that you learn, because it's a process of learning, not just to solve the challenge, but the essence of challenge for you to actually learn how to use Kali Linux effectively, and how you can go about to set your things when you are on your own. So now the first thing we're going to do is now that it says that open and read file names starting with dash. Now the first thing you're going to do is when you do a cat file name, it's going to trigger an error, right? And which we saw that ours did not trigger an error for us, but actually we got a terminal that was stuck, so we had to press Ctrl+C, hold Ctrl+C for it to break out. So the next thing we're going to do is that we need to specify the less than option to read a dash file name. So the next thing we do, we can try cat, right? Our less than, right? Then the dash. You can see that we can now read the file. The next thing we can do, we can also use the dot / the dash file name. We can also do cat, right? Dot / the dash file name. You see, it still works. So the next option that I normally use is full path. Now what is full path? Remember when we did print working directory for us at the first time? Now we are in Bandit 1 directory, but now under this Bandit 1 directory there is a file name dash, so we can just call the full path. Now it is full path. I can say cat, right, /home /bandit 1 / then the dash file name. So when I do this, I can also still read the cat file name. So we learned this to using Google, that we can use this command. We can also use this command to also read the content of this dash. We can also use the full path. This is full path, right? We can also use this. So now that we have gotten a password, let's just copy our password, go here, and then we type level 2. So now we have gotten the password for level 2. Now let's minimize this. We're done with this page. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to exit. Now when we exit now we are going to, instead of typing everything, why not just tab up? If you are lazy like me, you can just tab up once. You come here and you're going to edit this one. You change it from 1 to 2 because now we're logging in as Bandit 2. Now when we try to do that multiple times, it's because of network, that's why. So I have to do it multiple times. So now we're going to paste, we're going to copy this password that we got. We're going to copy the password. We come here and we're going to paste it. Now you can see, you can't see it, but just hit enter and then it will log you into Bandit 2. Now to prove that, who am I? Bandit 2. Good. So now we're in Bandit 2. So now let's click on level 2 now so that we can get the challenge for that level. Now the challenge for this level, it says that the password for the next level is stored in a file called spaces in this file name located in the home directory. Now you can Google what spaces in file name is to learn about what spaces in file name is. Remember, everything Google. So just Google about it and then you learn that. Remember, when we're solving Bandit 1, the name of the file was just readme without a space. Now when we do ls to list the content in this directory, now you can see that there's a file named spaces in this file. Now when we try to do cat, spaces, when we try to do cat, right now, okay, let's copy the file name, right? You are going to see that it's not going to work. Let's copy the file name, right? Let's copy that and let's cut it. Now when we cut it, see what's going to happen. You see it's throwing error, but when we list the file, we can see that there's a file there. It's because there are spaces in it. So the command line is not able to read it as a file, as a single file. So it will first of all try to read space, try to read in, try to read this, try to read file name. So for it to actually read this whole file as one at once, we need to do cat. There are two methods I'm going to teach you. So we are going to do cat. You put everything in quotes, right? You put it in the quotes. You paste the file name. You close the quotes, right? So now it's going to read everything as a single file since you are putting everything in quotes. That's why I suggest that whenever you are making directories, don't let spaces be within your directories. Just put everything in quotes, or you can try to fill in something in between them. So let's read our file. So now you can see when we type that, we got the password to the next level. Now you can see that we're learning something. We're learning about Linux gradually. Now the next method to use is cat. You're going to type spaces. When you type spaces, right? Sorry for that. When you type spaces, right? Now remember that for you to actually tell your command line to ignore the space in between that, you are going to use the backslash, right? So this particular space that we just imputed, now your command line will ignore that. You're going to put in. After in, there's also a space, and we want our command line to also ignore that. We'll use the backslash, tell it to ignore the space, then this, and then after typing this, we'll put our backslash. We'll still tell it to ignore that again. So when we type the file name and then we hit on enter, and then you can see that it still brought back our password for us. So we are just going to copy that for Bandit 2. This is the password for Bandit 3. So we go here, come back to our notes, level 3. So now I've gotten the password for level 3 now. So we're going to exit. So when we exit, now let's log into Bandit 3 now. So when we come back here, we just simply edit this, change it, put your 3, hit enter. So let's wait for it to prompt for our password. I'm having a slow network, that's why it's actually taking time to load. So I'm going to pause and wait for it. Okay, let's put the password. So now we're going to copy, double click, copy, paste, hit enter and wait for it to load. So now we are in level 3. So now let's go back to the Bandit page. So now we are going to click on level 3, right? I'm going to click on level 3. Now the challenge says that the password for the next level is stored in a hidden file in the in here directory. Now you see, now they are not giving you anything again. Now they said the password is stored in a hidden file. Now they're expecting you that now you should Google how to read hidden file, right? You should Google what's a hidden file. That's what they expect you to do. You should Google what a hidden file is, how to read a hidden file using Kali Linux, how to view a hidden file. That's what they expect you to do, because the first 1, 2, 3, 4 levels, they actually taught you how to use your Google. Now they are not going to tell you to Google because they expect you that now you should know. That's why I always say that when you don't know something, Google it. Google is always your friend in this field. So now when we do our normal ls to list the content of our directory, now it says this is a directory, right? So now for us to actually go to this directory, you have to use the change directory command, which is also known as cd. Cd means change directory. Cd space then the INHERA. So in here directory. So we're going to hit our enter, and then you can see when we have changed our directory to the in here directory. When we do print working directory, it's going to tell us that now we are in the in here directory, so which is good. So now let us list the content of the in here directory. When we do the ls command to list, you can see that there is nothing there, and then you'll be like, wow, so how do I get the password? Now remember, they said that there is something, hidden file, a hidden file, a hidden file. Now by the time you do your Google around to search for what's a hidden file, how to view a hidden file, how to open a hidden file, you discover that when you use the ls minus space minus la, you are telling that it should list everything including the hidden files. So when you hit enter, now you can see that, wow, you just got a hidden. But when you do the ls, you are not going to see anything. But when you do the ls space minus la, right, you are going to see that you have a .hidden file. Now the reason why you can't see the file is because it starts with a dot. That's why you can't see the file. So any online note, any file that starts with dot, you cannot see that file except you use the ls minus la. So that's how to hide files in Linux operating system. You have to append with a dot, right? So we're going to copy this full name with including the dot. Now we're going to use the cat command space. So we're going to put the dot. Make sure the dot is here in front of the file. Then you hit your enter, and then you wait for it to output our password. Now you can see that I've gotten the password here, password to Bandit 4. So now we can just go back to our notes. So we can go back to our notes, and make sure you save your notes as you progress, so in case you don't lose your notes. So now when we're done, now we're going to exit. So now that we have exited, now let's write down to level 5, or sorry, level 4. Let's copy our password, let's paste it, hit enter, and wait for it. So now we are done with this. Now let's go to level 4. So it says that the password for the next level is stored in the only human readable file in the in here directory. Tip: if your terminal is messed up, try reset command. I'm going to teach you something that you're going to use so that your terminal is not going to, your terminal won't get messed up, right? So you don't have to struggle with the reset command. So they said human readable. Now they gave you commands that you may need to solve this level. You have the ls command, you have the cd command, you have the cat command, you have the file command, you have the du command, you have the find command. So we're going to be using the find command, right? Remember, we already know how to use the ls command. When we do ls command to list the contents in that directory, now we can see that we are seeing another directory here. Then we can use the cd, which is a change directory, to change to the next directory on that system. Now we're going to hit enter. Now we have changed directory. Now when we press ls again, we can see that we have many files. And remember, seeing that we have many files, look at these files. It starts with a dash file. Remember what we learned earlier, files starting with a dash file. If you try to read any of this file, right, it's not going to work. There is a trick you can use to read all the whole files here. Is something known as a star wildcard, but we're not going to go to that. But let me just show you for showing sake. When you do cat star, what this star means is, remember, the cat is to read a particular file. Assuming we impute this particular file, we're telling that it should read all the files here. So but if you want to cheat the system, you have to use star, right, to read all the whole files. Now when you press enter, you see it's not going to work. Why? Because of this particular file start with a dash. So remember what we learned, that if you want to read files with dash files, right, you can use different method. So let me solve the let me show you guys the intended way to solve this particular level. The intended way to solve this level is to use the find command, right? So now, and they said you should look for a file that is human readable, which means that if we try to read this first file, it might not be human readable. Let's read it and see. So remember what we learned earlier, that arrow sign, right? So when we try to read it, you can see that it is not human readable. You can't understand this. This is gibberish, right? So the next thing we're going to do now is for us to actually read, or to actually look for a file. Normally we can actually cut each of these files individually, but that's not wise. There's a better way to do that. We are going to craft a command. The command is going to help us look through all these files, all these 9 files, and try to look for the one that is human readable for us. And for us to do that, we're going to use a command known as find command. So when you type the find command, if you don't know what the find command is, you can come and click here. Open this find command in a new tab, right? So you can read, okay, what's a find command? What does a find command do? And by the way, you can also use your terminal on Linux too. You can do something like man find. That's manual. Remember, manual find. You can hit enter. It's going to give you the same thing you find on this page. It's going to give you. So we're going to press Q to exit. You can also do something like man find. Then there's something known as a pipe operator. This sign grep. Grep means you are telling that, okay, whenever you run remember when we run the find command, it's brought out a list of things, right? So but we don't want to see all those things. We want to look for a specific keyword. We want to look for something that is human readable. Now we're telling that, okay, when you bring out the list of all the manual for find, take the results. This is a pipe command, then grep a specific result for us. That's when we're going to now use a grep to look for a human readable. So when we now search for this readable file, how to read this grep readable, we're telling that, okay, what's the syntax to use? Now normally when you read this, you can see if we use the readable syntax, we'll be able to read everything that we're telling that, okay, it should match files which are readable by the current user. Search for files which are executable. Okay, we're not going to do this, but the main goal is to look for readable files, right? Now if we were to use the man command without using this grep or this pipe command, see, it's going to bring out a lot of information which we might not need at the moment, because we're trying to look for how can we just read human readable files. So you have to look for all these things, look for it, and you're wasting time. So let's press Q to quit. So that's why we have to use this grep readable, so it just go straight to that readable and just grep it for us only. So we're going to copy this whole syntax, come back to our terminal. So we're going to tell you, okay, find here. Now remember, for us to actually use the find command, we tell you that, okay, find in this directory. Now which directory are we? We want it to find in this present directory. That's the dot slash, right? We're telling that it should find in the present directory. So we're going to use the dot slash directory now. Or let me go back a little bit. That's too advanced. Let me go back a little bit. Let me clear my screen. So now you see, when you do the normal ls, we have a directory, and the question says that the password for the next level is stored in the human readable file in the in here directory, right? So the next thing we are doing here is we are using the find command. We're telling it to read in this place here. That's the in here. And remember, you have to add this forward slash, which is indicating that it's a directory. So this you are finding, you are telling, okay, find command, go to this particular directory. Then we're going to paste what we copied earlier, right? We're going to come to this place. We're going to paste what we copied earlier, right? So we're going to paste that here. So I'm telling you, okay, when you go to this directory, when you go to the in here directory, find anything that is readable for us. Now that's what we're going to do. You can see that when we do that, it's going to bring up a lot of things, which is trying to tell us, okay, that everything is readable, right? But now this is not what we are looking for at the moment. The next thing we have to do is we are going to use the cat command with what I showed you guys, a trick I showed you guys. Let us move to that directory, right? See the in here directory, right? Now we're in that directory and we list all these things, right? We want to actually know which file is actually human readable. We are going to use the file command, right? The file, F-I-L-A. Now when we do file everything, we're telling that, okay, all the files in this directory, tell me what are they. When you do the star, you can see that it says no such file or directory. It's because it cannot open. Now when you read this carefully, you can see it is not picking the -f, but it is picking the ILE. It's because it is taking this -f as an argument. So in order for us to stop that, remember what we did earlier, reading dash files. So the next thing we're going to do is let us clear our screen. So we're going to say, okay, file. Now remember that we can use the dot slash. So let us use the dot slash, right? So we're going to use the dot slash. So I tell that dot slash this, right? Then with a star. That's for every single thing. So the dot slash is to bypass this file starting with a dash. Then the star means every single thing. So when you hit enter, you are going to see that it tells us that, okay, this one is a data, but now you can see this one is different. This one stands out. This file 7 stands out. So why not? Let's read it. So we copy everything and just do cat, paste it, and you can see we got the password to the next level. So you can see that we are advancing, we are learning more, we are understanding how the Linux command works. And then a recap of this is you are cutting. To cut that, we need to actually use a // to bypass this dash here so that it not affect the file. But if we don't use, now let us cut this file, let us read this file without using the /. So I'm going to tab up and delete this. Now let us read the file like this, and then you see what is going to happen. It's going to throw error. You get? So that's why. So now that I've gotten the password for level 5, so now we're going to come here, click here, LEVEL, level 5, sorry. So now I've gotten the password for level 5. So let us exit, right? So now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to connect to level bandit 5, right? So connecting to bandit 5, you just need to edit this command and just change it from bandit 4 to bandit 5. So when we hit enter, it's going to prompt us password. Let us copy this, paste it here, hit enter, and then we're in bandit 5. So now the next thing we are doing is we're going to click on this level 5, right, to see what we are up against next. So the next thing, it says that the password for the next level is stored in a file somewhere under the in here directory and has all of the following properties. Now they said that the file is human readable 1. Secondly, it has it is 1033 bytes in size and it is not executable. Nice. That means this is a very good challenge, right? So when we do the ls command, we saw that we are seeing the in here directory, but now when we go to the in here directory, right, let us go to in here directory and list the content. Now you can see that we are even having more folders. Now let us try to list what's in the maybe here directory 00. Now you can see that we have bunch of files. Some has spaces, some have dash, some you can see the color is green, some is white. We have different things. So let's just go back. We don't have the strength to start checking each of those files manually, trying to see. You get tired. You see, the goal of this is for you to actually learn how to do things very easy using your terminal. So now all we are going to do, let's clear our screen. Now we are going to use the find command now. So we're going to be learning a lot right now. So now they said the password for the next level and is stored in a file, and these are the properties of the file, right? Good. They provided us some commands that we might need. We can use ls to list content, cd to change directory, cat to read a file, file command to know what is the type of file we're up against. Then we're going to use the find command, right? So now if you also want to know about the du command, you can also click on it and learn about it. Now we'll be using the find command to actually find for a file that has this certain type of properties. Now what do I mean? When you do something like ls minus la on your terminal, right, it's going to give you a list of files in your terminal. Now this is what this thing means. This is dash dash. This dash, there are nine dashes here grouped into 3. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So now for us to be able to read all these files is that they contain something. Read, write. You have your read, write, execute. Sorry, this one here actually means, if you see a D means it's a folder. This is a folder. So aside the folder, we have 9 other dashes, right? Which is 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Then this last one means it's either a file or a folder, or when you see dash, it's a hidden file. So now this particular directory here is telling us that this is a directory where the root users have read access, they have write access, they have executable access. Then the group, which is also this, the group have read access, but the group does not have write access, but the group has executable access. Then those that are not part of the group or the users of the file, they have no access to the file. So that's what all these things mean, this read, write, execute. So now for us to find our fly, let's clear our screen. So we're going to use a find command. We're telling that, okay, before we do the find command, let's do ls. So we're going to do the find command, and we're telling that it should read in the in here directory. So we're telling, okay, go to the in here directory, then we want it that when you go to the in-here directory, look for a file that is human readable. But how do we actually find this? Let us look for a syntax that we can use to find readable. Now let us go to here and clear this. So when we type, we are going to type the man find. We are telling that okay, we need a manual for find, which is going to bring up a bunch of things that we are not interested to go through individually right now. So let us quit that. So the next thing we're going to do is we are telling that whenever you bring out that bunch of information, please, I want to find this. So I'll use the pipe command, right? Pipe the command to grep it, grep. So this grep now are telling to extract specific information for us. So I'm going to use the -i so that it will not bring out case sensitive words for us. So we're going to search for readable first. You can see that it matches files which are readable, right? So we're going to copy that readable, come to our notes. Let us just have a quick, let us just put the V here, readable. The next one says 1033 bytes in size. So we're looking for how to find files with a specific size. So I'm going to put size there, and when you read all these things, it's going to tell you that okay, we can use this size. And then when you read, you need to make sure that you add C at the end of the size file. So we're going to come back here, paste that, and then we remember this is C that we need to use. Then when you go back to the question, say that it's not executable. So we're going to search for not executable. We're going to search for executable first. Now this is for executable, to look for files that are executable. So but remember they said not executable, so we're going to be adding the not exclamation mark in front of it for not executable. So now that we have our options set, now let's go and solve our question. So now we're going to tell it that okay, that go to the in here directory and find a file that is readable by us. So I'm going to paste it, right, space, that has a size. What's the size? The size from the question is 1033. So I'm going to add C, remember, then that is not executable. Normally if you want to look for executable file, it's just executable, but remember they said not executable. So we're going to go back and add the not. So we're going to use the not executable, right? So we're going to hit enter, and then you can see immediately we got our result that this particular file is here. So then imagine we were to look for the maybe here 00, look for the files there, maybe here 01, look for the files maybe here 02. See, that will be time consuming, but now with just this simple command we just got our file. So I'm going to use a cat command now to read the file, and then you can see that we got the password to bandit 6. So we are going to delete this and then come back to our original note and save it. So now we have gotten the password to level 6. So now let us exit and log in. So let's clear our screen. So let's go up and then just quickly change it to level 6, right? So let's come here, copy, paste, Ctrl+Shift+V to paste. Now we are logged in. Now let's go to level 6. Now clicking on level 6, we can see that the password for the next level is stored somewhere on the server and has all of the following properties. Nice, I love this. Now you can see that now it is somewhere on the server. If we do ls, we can see that we have nothing. ls -la. we only have the default files on the Kali Linux system. So it means that it is somewhere on the system. Now let us go to the parent or to the root directory of the system. When we go to cd dot dot, we're home. When we do ls, we can see the list of other users. Then we go to cd dot dot. Now we are in the home directory. This is the parent directory. If I do pwd, print working directory, this is a slash. So this is where all directories in Kali Linux start from. All directories in Kali Linux or in all Linux system always start from a slash, a forward slash. So let us type cd and just go back to our home directory and clear screen. So now for us to find that file, first of all, let us get what we are going to use. So we're going to look for a file that is owned by user bandit 7. So let us see how we can craft the command. So we are going to still use our man command with find for user, and we can see that it says user, then you put the username, right, and then you read. So we're going to use this first one. Let us put that here. The next thing is that it is owned by group bandit 6, right? So the same thing, go back here, paste that, and then we can see that we can use this syntax for group. Go back to our notes, paste it. What else do we need to find again? They said 33 bytes in size. So how do we use size? The same thing, we paste size, and then we can read about size, and then we know that we have to add a C here, but to be 33C. So we'll just copy the size syntax and come back here and paste that, right? So now we have gotten the parameters that we need in place. We can come back here and then you can say, okay, find in all the directories on this system. Now we are using the slash, which means the root, the directory that's where all directories and Kali Linux start from, right? The root system directory, this is where everything starts from. So it starts with a slash, so the forward slash. So the next thing we're going to do is user. They said from the question, let's bring this down a little bit. It says that is owned by user bandit 7. So user bandit 7. The next one is what? It is owned by a group what? Bandit 6. The next one, size what? 33 what? C. So we hit enter. But now you can see we have a little problem here. The command actually worked, but the issue now is that, remember, before we were actually looking for files in our own directory, but now we're looking for files in all the whole system. So, and we bandit 6, we don't have access to some certain files like the root file, the root directory, the run directory. We don't have write or read permissions in those kind of directory. That's why I see permission denied. I was seeing some error messages on the screen. So in order for us not to see these error messages, what we need to do is we have to actually add this command to the ending of our command, which is to greater than slash dev slash null or null. So now what that to greater than slash dev slash null is that there is a folder or a file on the Linux operating system that is known as dev null. What this dev null does is it's a black hole, right? That whenever you want to permanently delete something, any file that goes to this place, it's permanent, it deletes that file permanently. So it's like a black hole, right? So now, like a born address, those of you that are familiar with crypto terms, like a born address, like anything that goes here cannot come back. So what we are telling this command to do is that after you run this command, we know it's going to throw all these errors, but please redirect all the errors to this black hole directory for us, right? So let me expand my screen. So I tell it to redirect all these errors to this directory, so it will only bring us the results, but anything that looks like permission denied will go to the black hole. So let's press enter, and then you can see immediately it's found the location of the password for us, right? So I'm going to come here, cat, right, paste it. So this is the full part, and you can see we got the password. Now you'll be wondering that, okay, let us also get the password without using a full part. First of all, you need to go to the root directory, right? cd //. So this is the root directory, right? Or you can just do cd / to go to the root directory. That's the base directory of your system, right? Where everything starts from. So the next thing you can see is var. Where is var? This is, look at var located here. You can say, okay, cd var. When you do ls, we can also say, okay, let's go to lib, cd lib. When you do ls in lib also, you can see different things, but then we are going to dpkg. So, and where is dpkg? This is dpkg. So I'm going to dpkg. So when we do ls, you can see that we have many things, but then we are going to what? We are going to the info folder. And where is the info? See info. So I'm going to info. So when we do ls, you can see a bunch of files, right? Which this is not what we wanted earlier. So when we just try to scroll up a little bit so that we can see the file. So under the info, it is bandit what? So we can just quickly go down, just do cat. Now you can see that's also if you actually want to go to the folder, but why stress yourself instead of you just typing using the first option we used. So now we got the password to bandit 7, right? So we can just come here, delete this, then back to our notes. Can just come here, level 7, right? So now we have the password to level 7. Let's exit this and let's quickly log into, let's clear our screen so we can keep things neat. So let's just quickly change this to level 7, hit enter. Let's copy our password, Ctrl+Shift+V, paste, hit enter, and then we're logged in as bandit 7. Now let's see the tags for bandit 7. Click here and let's see what we have. They said that the password for the next level is stored in the file named as data.txt next to the word millions. That's nice. So when you do our ls command, we see data.txt. Now what's data.txt? You can see file to know what that file is. Now you can see it's a Unicode text, blah 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 blah. Okay, let us just try to read it and see. Okay, no, let's actually try to know how many lines of words are there. You can use what we call word count. WC word count is a command line terminal to count the number of lines in a file. Word count minus L, right? Word count minus L, then data.txt. Now you can see that we have about 98,587 lines. Let's cut that and see. That's crazy. That's a whole lot of lines. Wow. you can see that we have a bunch of files. Now, how can you actually start checking which of them is actually the right password? But remember, from the question, they already gave us the hint. They told us that the password for the next level is stored in a file called this next to the word millions. So we're going to copy this millions, and then we're going to grep the word that's next to million, right? So what we are doing here is we are doing grep. We are going to do grep data.txt. So we're telling it that, okay, so sorry about that, sorry. So what we are going to do is we are going to do the grep command millions data.txt. You can see that we got the password. We can also do cat data.txt. We are telling that when you cut out this file for us, don't show us the result, send the result here and do this to the result. Grep a word known as millions. So now you can see that we still got the password. So it means it's going to go to wherever that word million is. We don't want to know, we don't care. Let's assume it's just going to go to the millions and then grab the next word next to it. So that's what it's doing basically. So we're going to grab the word millions here. So that's the password for Bandit 8. So now we have 8. Let's move to 9. So let's quickly log in to 8. My network. So let's copy the password for 8, log into it, and then we go to our challenge and see what we have for us, what they have for us. Now they said that the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt and is the only line of text that occur only once. Beautiful. Now for us to actually do this, now you can see they give you a helping reading material which you can read about it to learn about piping and redirection. So what I will do is when I do my ls command, if I do my cats data.txt, you can see a lot of passwords. Now let us know how many passwords are there. We can say, okay, word count minus l data.txt to count the number of lines. Now we have about 1001 password here, but we don't know which one. But they said that it is the only line of text that occurs only once. Now for us to actually do that, we have to actually sort this thing in alphabetical order. So we're going to use a sort command which is known as sort data.txt. Now you see that it's going to sort everything alphabetically for us. Now you can see that it's no longer scattered every point. Now if you notice that these lines they repeat themselves, but they said that it is the only word that occurs only once, right? So that means we are looking for something that is unique. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, when you do this command for us, pipe it, that's redirect the command to this particular piece for us. So which is we are going to use the pipe symbol, which is this long slash there. Then we are going to tell it to use the unique. We are going to use the unique minus u. So you can see that we got our password for us. For those of you that are wondering why did we use the unique minus u, now if you use the unique alone, you are going to still get a bunch of passwords, right? But when you use it with the minus u option, it gives you only this. So when you come to here and you do unique, when you try to look for the help command under unique, you are going to see that when you come to u, you see only prints unique lines. So that's why we use the minus u. So now we did that and we got our password for Bandit 9. So let's go to level level 9. So now let us quickly exit I'm sure this video is longer than I expected actually. So, but anyways, so let's paste the password there. Let's clear our screen to make things neat, tidy. So let's move to Bandit level 9. Now, the next question is said that the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt in one of the few human readable strings preceded by several equal to characters. Good. Now, if you read this file ls, we have data file data.txt. We have it's a data file. Now when we do word count minus l data to know how many lines are in that file, we have about 79 lines. Now let's cut it and see, let's read it and see. When we do the cut, right, we are going to see that it brings up gibberish. So when you see something gibberish like this, just do your clear your screen. The next thing you do, we are going to use a command known as strings, which will make everything neater for you. Strings command, then the name of the file, strings. It's going to make everything on a single line for you. Now you can see that we have some bunch of strings here, right? So let's clear. Now everything is neat now, but then they said that it is preceded by several characters. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the cut, or you are going to do the strings command, right? You are going to string it, which is going to bring out this, but we don't want this alone. So let's clear that. Now the next thing we want is that, okay, whenever you bring out that data, please pipe the result for us first. Don't just show us the result. This is what we want you to do with the result. Now we're telling you that we want it to grep something that proceed with equal to. So we're going to say grep. We're going to put the equal to. They say several characters of equal to. So let's just use 3. No, 3 is actually few. So let's use 4. 4 above, I think, is several. So we're going to hit our equal to, enter, and then you can see that boom, it brought our result out. The password is this. Very easy and nice. Good. So let's save our password to Level10. Yes. So now you'll be wondering why this. Now if you remember, when you just use the normal string command, right, and you outputted this, you can see that it brought out a lot of things for us, but we just needed it to only pick the lines that contain equal to for us based on the challenge description. That's why we had to now tell it that we should grep only the lines that has equal to in it, and then doing that, it actually brought out this result for us. So let's copy the password and log into Bandit 10. Exit, clear. So let's just edit this quickly. 10, and then put the password, right? So moving on forward, let's move to 10. So what's the challenge here? Challenge says that the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt, which contains base 64 encoded data. I'm laughing already. You see why we actually treated cryptography. Now I'm very sure most of you know what base 64 is. So let us cut it. Let us do ls first. Cut data. Oh, you can see a long string, and they said that it is base 64. So you can solve this challenge in 2 ways, but remember, this is Linux terminal. So let's not use the web browser, because most of you be like, hey, I can just copy this string, go online, use a cipher, identifier or decoder to decode this, but let's not use that method. Let's actually use the terminal. So you can tell it that it should cut the data.txt file for you, pipe it, and run this command for us: base 64 minus decode for us. So the D, so when you hit enter, it's going to decode the password for us and tell us that this is the password for Bandit 11. You can also see that you have Bandit 64 as commands you may need. So they always give you the commands you may need here. Not everything, but at least they give you the commands you may need. So now we can see we have the password for the next level. So we can come to our notes, level 11, save it. So now, as a proof of concept, let's log in and see. Let's exit, copy that, change to 11, and let's see if the password is going to work. Network, why are you doing this to me? So let's paste it and let's see who am I? Bandit 11. So it means it worked. So I'm going to be stopping here, guys. I expect that at this stage you must have understand the basics of Linux command. I urge you guys and I encourage you all to actually go to this site. I encourage you to go to this site, try to complete 11, 12, 13. Try and let's see how far you can go. Then whenever you are stuck in a particular level, try to reach out to us. We'll help you out. I'm going to be dropping solutions for the remaining levels, but try and in the group. So try and solve. So thank you guys so much for staying around. See you guys next time.